Yeah.
Okay.
What else you got?
I think we'd just give a mention to Roger Hayes at the moment.
Let's do a little bit of Roger, because we've had a couple of letters today, haven't we?
We have received 2 letters. The UK Column's received 2 letters today from Roger Hayes. So we now know from his own pen that he's alive and well within Liverpool prison. He has given us yet more detail about the process that he went through, the unlawful process, which meant that he ends up in prison without having been properly tried. But the beauty is that Roger is clearly making best use of the time. He's received a large number of letters, which he's doing his best now to respond to. And he said what is very interesting is that a number of people from inside the prison, both warders and other prisoners, are coming to him asking about why he's there. They're asking about what's happening with the Constitution, and he's giving them as much information as he can. So on a positive side, the fact that Roger is imprisoned at the moment has produced a phenomenal media response. We know that his case has now been logged on some 58,000 websites worldwide, and we have certainly been flooded with calls and emails and texts from people worldwide again asking how he is. Now, one of the key points I'd just like to cover, and I've had this on an update today, is I'll just put my glasses on for this, sorry about that. Is the fact that John Hurst and the team that have been fighting the legal battle for Roger went into Wirral Magistrates Court yesterday, and they were told in no uncertain terms by the senior clerk, who I believe was called Mr. Bettison, that Magistrates Court are there to process statute law, and that common law has no place in them. Now, that's a very extraordinary statement, that common law, the baseline of our freedoms and our Constitution, we're now being told that common law has no place in the Magistrates Court. I wasn't able to get through to the court before coming into the show because we were going to ask Mr. Bettison if he wanted to comment and explain his statement, but we'll do that before our next show tomorrow. But a very, very interesting statement. Common law no longer working in magistrates' courts. And the gentleman was also asked to excuse himself from Roger's case because he has been a long-standing opponent of Roger Hayes. So effectively, to try and block the set-aside order that the legal team was seeking showed that he had actually got bias in the case. And the legal team raised with him a case which is Lord Green in Craig versus Canson of 1943. We can't obviously give you the full details of that case, but it basically says that a person affected by both a void or voidable order has the right to have the order set aside. So that precedence case simply tells us very clearly that the senior clerk of Wirral Magistrates Court does not have the power to block that argument being presented in a full court. So we consider that at the moment, not only does common law not exist in Wirral Magistrates Court, but we have senior clerks effectively making up the law. But having said that, we now have to wait to see what is going to happen. There have been some problems with the prison staff themselves, I'm sorry to report, because at the moment Roger is held as a civil prisoner, which means that he has considerably more rights than if he was there on a criminal matter, and he should be able to have visitors quite freely. Obviously everybody accepts that visitors have to adhere to certain times and convenience within the prison routine, But what appears to be happening is that as the drive for a proper legal void, so a quashing of the original conviction, as that moves forward, suddenly it's become very difficult for Roger's lay legal advisors to get into the prison to see him. Now, whether this is simply a little bit of mismanagement, we don't know, but certainly people on the ground are beginning to suspect that there's a bit more of a drive to stop Roger having a proper voice to defend himself.
Is he because there was talk that he was on hunger strike?
Roger has been on hunger strike for a week, but I'm pleased to say that he's been persuaded by his family and friends, and that includes the UK column, to start eating.
Good.
I know that was an attempt by Roger to express his frustration and disgust at what's been done to him, but we would rather have him fit and well when he comes out, which we expect to be on the 20th of July. So that's next Friday.
Yeah, right in time for...
It should be right in time for a conference where if Roger is feeling up to it, we hope that he will be telling us firsthand about what's happened to him and why we should be deeply concerned about the attacks on our constitution.
More about that later though, eh?
Yeah.
Can I just say though, a couple of years ago, I'm sure it was around the Exeter area, a pensioner, a lady, was put in prison for non-payment of council tax.
Yes.
All over the mainstream media, and I think she was released after 2 days because it was so in the public eye. And here we have Roger, who wouldn't say he wasn't going to pay it. He was holding it back until he knew what it was being spent on. Nothing in the mainstream media, and he's in there. Well, we've already
duration. Yeah, we've already reported that even local papers like the local Liverpool Echo has said that they're not going to cover the story. They feel that stories about wheelie bins are more appropriate. But I think the real reason that the mainstream press and media daren't go near this story is because, of course, it isn't just that Roger Hayes has been withholding his council tax. It is because that if Roger Hayes or the British Constitution Group are speaking, people are speaking from an informed position about the abuses of power in taking those council taxes, in the way that the money is being misappropriated.
Yeah.
And shortly we're going to be speaking to a gentleman I think is really going to surprise some of the audience about the scale of corruption. So I think that they can't go near Roger Hayes because the information that then comes out to the public in the UK is too dangerous.
Yes,
that's what I think it's about.
Just a question from the chat. Did Roger sign himself in as a civil or a criminal?
He's automatically civil. In answer to that question, he's automatically civil because that is the outcome of being sentenced under the I'm going to forget the date now, 2002 Council Tax Communities and Council Tax Act.
Right.
So the moment he was sentenced through that process of council tax, he was automatically a civil prisoner.
Okay.
I hope that answers the
fight
question.
for your rights. Join the revolution. Take back our power. Join the British Constitution. The British Constitution. Join the revolution. Lawful rebellion, our right. The British Constitution. We stand for a future we control. Our heritage lies in free men's souls. We fight to conquer Britain's foes. The British Constitution. We fight to conquer Britain's foes. The British Constitution. We fight to conquer Britain's foes. The British Constitution. The British Constitution. The British Constitution.